Hey everybody, it's Harry from SlapYoDaddyBBQ. I'm in Louisville, gonna be hanging out with my buddy Jeremy Yoder from Mad Scientist Barbecue. We're gonna have fun cooking some briskets this weekend, playing on his offset smokers and maybe rummaging around in his pantry to do my normal Iron Chef pantry raid, cook something wonderful with what I can find. So I'd like you guys to join us on this adventure. We're gonna be in Kentucky this weekend, cooking barbecue, having fun, and sharing barbecue love. It's a cloudy Saturday morning and we are headed out to Jeremy Yoder's place. We're gonna have some fun today, chillaxing, cooking some barbecue, shooting the breeze about all things barbecue. I'm gonna provide Jeremy with some insight on how competition stuff works, and he can maybe provide me some insights on how he likes to cook barbecue more for backyard, for home style. So it's gonna be a fun day.
So we just unpackaged a nice sharp knife. So step one is remove from package.
Remove from package, okay. And what kind of briskets did you get us, Jeremy, today?
So these are upper choice Angus briskets. So even though they're choice, I find them to be a little bit better than the prime briskets I get at Costco. For some reason, those commodity briskets just aren't as good. I don't know why, or maybe they are better, but I just don't get the same results.
We're gonna do a Jeremy Yoder brisket today. How do you want to show me how to trim it? Or you talk me through it?
Yeah, so I won't touch it. I'll just tell you what I would do.
All right.
So the first step is I would flip it over.
Flip it over.
Yeah.
All right. Cat up. Yes.
Yeah. And so then I just kind of grab the fat, feel how thick it is, and try to take it down on the top side to about a 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch. Okay, here we go. And now, do we want to get it down to the meat or no?
No.
Do we take any of the fat off the point muscle, or do you leave the fat off the point?
On the top side, we leave about a quarter of an inch of fat on the top side.
Okay.
And then on the bottom side, we remove all the fat.
All right.
So what I would do is I'd get the knife and kind of go at an angle, and this would just take off, which is unfortunate.
So that's the point, right? Part of the point.
Yeah, so on a big offset, because there's so much airflow, that's just going to dry out and burn.
All right.
And so it seems like you're wasting the meat, but you can take that, you can grind it into sausage, you can use it for burgers. Okay. There are lots of purposes for it. It's got great marbling and great flavor, but for our purpose today, it's not going to be something we want to keep.
What are your criteria when you select a brisket? What do you look for when you pick a brisket from the store?
Basically, I want the flat to be really thick, because the flat's going to be leaner, and it's got to be thick enough to withstand the punishment of being, cooked for a long time.
Okay. Now, is this about good enough, or you want me to trim some more?
Yeah, so my general philosophy is be merciless with the flat, because I want everything I put on the smoker to end up as something that I want to eat in the end. I don't want to have to, trim off stuff that's dried out and burned and stuff like that. Okay. So what I would do is I'd come down here and kind of make a straight line across here, take off some of that fat, and then here, just take that off. Just kind of round it off.
Okay, so you want to get the thin part so that it will burn, right?
Yeah, so I use the rule of thumb. Basically, the flat has to be thicker than my thumb or else it comes off.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so here, what I do is I kind of try to round that off.
Okay, all right, we'll do round it off. Are you a 30-degree angle kind of guy with the aerodynamic flow on the edge?
Oh.
Oh, this is a little bit much.
I don't really think about it. I just...
So on the internet, people say that you have to have an aerodynamic trim and you have to have a 30-degree angle so that the meat the hot airflow will flow over the meat. And of course, there's could be a little bit of a horse behind, but you never know. All right.
I don't know. I don't really buy it.
Okay. All right. So I have a little bit of oxidation here. So that's caused by the hot wash as the carcass is being fabricated. So Jeremy instructs me to trim this piece off. So
on this underside, what I would do is I'd kind of go at an angle with the knife and try to get most of that off. You're never going to get it completely off. Okay. Get most of that off, and this part that's kind of hanging on the top, we'll take that off completely. And then these little bits of fat, just kind of run the knife along it to try to remove it. If you have a piece here or there, it's not the end of the world.
What's the reason you take this off, Jeremy?
Bark, because what can happen is at the end of the cook, that stuff can kind of flake off, and the bark that you worked so hard to create gets ruined.
Do you trim into the eye at all, or no?
No.
No? Leave it intact?
Yep. And that would be enough on the bottom side for me.
Okay.
So at this point, I'd flip it over and then check this side, and I kind of look at it edge on. I look at it edge on right here and just try to trim it down to be a reasonable amount of fat that I think is going to render well.
Okay, quarter inch or so.
Yep. So I actually never do that. I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to turn out.
Okay. So we will hopefully not have this part dry out too much.
Yeah.
But we're ready to go.
Yeah, okay, now this part is much simpler than what you're used to. This is a 50-50 mix of kosher salt, diamond crystal kosher salt, and coarse ground black pepper. And we're gonna do an even coat, top and bottom, and then it goes on the smoker.
All right, any schmear?
Nope.
No schmear, so it's completely naked. We're gonna toss the S&P on. Jeremy Yoder style brisket.
Right.
How thick do you like it?
A little bit less than that.
Tell me when. A little bit too much?
A little bit too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll try again, pass number 2.
Something like that, yeah.
Better?
Yep.
Okay, so don't do this, do this.
Yeah.
And
then just an even coat.
Yep. And you like to shake it like me about a little higher, so it kind of flows a little bit evenly. So no schmear, no mustard, no water.
You can,
no...
it doesn't hurt anything.
Okay.
But I just found that for efficiency's sake, this is easier.
Okay. What's your thought on the 16 mash versus 18 mash versus 20 mash controversy?
I didn't know it was a controversy. My thoughts are, whatever you like the best is the right answer.
Okay, everything in barbecue is a 3-hour argument and Jerry Springer fist fight. So, question is, do you put the same thing on the other side? Is this good enough or more?
No, it's good.
It's
That's good. That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, so for this kind of barbecue, because you cook it so long unwrapped, that bark that you create all around the brisket is going to cover up any kind of imperfections in the rub. So like this bald spot, you probably won't even see that at the end. You might see it has a slightly different texture, but it's all going to look pretty much the same.
Okay, so the next question is the $50 question. How long to let it sit?
I put it directly on. Two reasons. Number
Okay.
one is I think it gets a better smoke ring when it's cold. And then the other reason is people talk about letting it come up to room temperature. I'm actually going to do a video on this in the future, but if you put a temperature probe in there, it takes hours and hours for it to actually raise up to close to room temperature. So for me, I don't think it's worth it, and it already takes long enough. So my thought is, let's get it on and get it done.
Okay, let's do that. Put it on the pit, and we'll see you guys in the next segment.
All right, now it's time to put it on. We're going to put it on fat side up because the heat is at the top of the smoker. And so I want to make sure that this brisket is protected as possible. So the heat is going to be on the fat side. So let's open this up.
All right.
I would put it in the back with the point facing toward the fire.
Around this way?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
Now this is a really nice smoker, so tell me a little bit about the Franklin smoker.
It's really expensive. It's very good. It's 1/4 inch thick steel. The beauty of offset smokers, in my opinion, is that they're so simple, but the quality of the product that you get is 100% because of how you manage the fire. So if you manage the fire well, you can have stuff that tastes really good. If you don't manage it well, it'll taste really bad and you really won't enjoy the product. And if it's nice and moist, you've run everything properly.
In terms of cooking, of all the surface area, which one do you like the best? Around here? Kind of like halfway to the left?
So from here to here is nuclear hot. From here on back is brisket weather. So it's really even temperatures from about this line all the way to the stack. So if it's 275, it's 275 here, 275 here, 275 here, 275 here.
All right, and how long will we have it in there for?
We're not going to look at it for the next 3 hours, basically.
3 hours, so we get to have chill and talk about barbecue. And how do you set up the smokestack and the damper so that you have a nice airflow?
Okay, so there is no damper.
There is no damper.
And there is no damper.
Okay,
so
no damper.
there are vents in the door, so you can't adjust airflow at all. So I think what they were intending to do was make it foolproof so that you can't burn a dirty fire, you get plenty of oxygen, and it's going to draft air well. So you can't adjust it at all. Basically, the only thing you can adjust is how much fuel you have in the firebox.
Wow, I have never used a pit that has no damper adjustments on the exhaust of the intake. So this is going to be a learning experience, and he's the pro. We're going to learn everything we can from Jeremy Yoder.
So you can see that the temperature here has dropped, and part of using an offset smoker is that always, no matter what, whether you're eating, you're going to the bathroom, you're sitting down, you're talking to your friends, whatever's happening while you're barbecuing, you're always thinking about the fire. Right now the fire has dropped down to 200 degrees, which is way low. So we have to get some wood. But those splits over there are way too big for the smoker. So we have to get that wood ready, get it on the fire, so we can keep running at 275. This is a stump. It's very sophisticated technology here.
All right,
this is a splitting maul.
Splitting maul.
So
okay, cool.
what we're going to do is you're going to take some of these pieces of wood and split them down.
And split them down. Cool.
Yep. So just pick it up and...
Okay, Harry will now try. Okay, so we pick up this is called a maul.
Splitting maul, yeah.
Splitting maul, okay. And we put the wood on the stump.
That's it.
Okay, and we hit it this way.
Yep.
Okay, let's see if Harry doesn't lose an arm or a leg in this motion, right? Okay. Oh, just straight down.
Yep. There you go.
All right, my first kill. I graduated from white belt. So now, lots more wood to split for our Franklin pit cook.
Here you go.
Wow, those are small pieces.
They are. So I would take this and kind of stir the coals around, try to get them kind of all together.
Okay.
And then put that on top. One on the left side, and then we'll put the next one on the right side.
Right side. Here. Okay, here we go.
And then this one on top of those.
Top. Okay, cool. I got a little bit of a lingo
Boom.
lock style. Ready to go.
Yep. And then we leave the door open until it catches flame, and then we close it down, have it drafting air through.
All
cooking
right.
our brisket. This is an extremely good smoker. It's just not cheap. So if you know what you're getting yourself into, great.
And of course, a lot of it has to pay with this thing here. That actual laser cut is worth the $4,000.
Yeah, I think this is $3,900. The rest of the pit is $100.
So, folks, for those of you who want to cook with a pedigree and tell people that you're cooking on the Aaron Franklin pit, very similar to the same one that he runs his flagship restaurant in Austin, Texas, which I think is probably one of the best barbecue restaurants in America, if not the world. That definitely is worth the price of admission. We're going to do a pantry raid, and I'm going to see if I can cook some Hawaiian style Huli chicken with whatever we can find here. So I see some pasta. I see some, what is this?
Sesame oil.
Sesame oil. Okay, so let's grab the sesame oil and soy sauce. Still good?
It smells good.
It smells good. Wonderful.
Okay.
And let's see here. You got any brown sugar here by chance?
Probably down here.
Okay. Grab a little brown sugar, and we'll rustle up some ingredients and show you guys how to make a Hawaiian style Huli chicken with some garlic butter noodles. Okay, Jeremy, we are going to do something Hawaiian today for the pantry raid, and you can do your best hula impersonation. We are going to let you do it because I've done this a few times, so I think it's more fun if I can get my host, Jeremy, to graciously cook it. We have a chicken here. So we're gonna basically spatchcock the chicken, and then we're gonna put a few ingredients to make a Hawaii style marinade. It's primarily soy, brown sugar, lots of ginger, lots of garlic, pineapple juice, and a little bit of heat from the crushed red pepper. And then to give it kind of a nutty flavor, we're gonna use some of this product here, which is a sesame oil. Let's start with some soy sauce. So let's go about half a cup of soy sauce in here.
Okay.
Kind of eyeball it, it's fine.
Okay.
A couple of tablespoons of sesame oil. Okay.
I love sesame oil.
Oh, okay. More sesame oil than since you love sesame oil. Okay, cool. A little bit of chili flakes, as much or as little as you want. I don't know. You like spicy stuff?
I do.
Maybe about like 1 tablespoon.
So, something like that or more?
Okay, that's good. Okay, excellent. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Let's throw some brown sugar in there.
All right.
Maybe about maybe 1/4 cup or half a cup. Just kind of eyeball it, just shake it in there. We're going to create a slurry. You want to create like a huli slurry. Now you're wondering why it's called huli. Huli means turn. So it's turn chicken. So in Hawaii, it's cooked on a rotisserie. Let's see here. Maybe a little bit more.
A little bit more?
A little bit more. Okay, cool. Let's now add a little bit of pineapple juice here.
Okay.
This is the concentrate. So, okay, so maybe about enough to kind of mix it. Do we have a little something to stir it with? Let's go ahead and mix it up and see how the slurry looks. Okay. Go ahead and squeeze some ginger, maybe about 2 tablespoons of ginger in there.
Okay.
And, same with the garlic heat stuff here.
Okay. Chunky garlic paste.
Couple of squirts here. Okay, give it a stir. Let's taste it for salinity.
All right. All right, now taste it.
Yeah, give it a taste test and let me know if you think it's salty enough or we need a little bit more salt.
All right. I think it needs more salt.
Yep. Okay, more kikoman. Let's throw some S&P in there.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, let's get the saltiness level up. So Jeremy's gonna add a little bit of S&P, the same one we put on the brisket. And we'll get it to the salinity of the ocean water. Okay, go ahead.
Something like that.
Yeah, give it a stir, taste test. I think it needs a little bit more of the nuttiness of the sesame. What do you think? Huh?
I love sesame oil, so you don't have to tell me twice.
Okay, pour it all in and we'll use the whole bottle because I think that it's gonna give it a lot of flavor, especially with that salt. Okay, excelente.
Let's see here. Ooh, that's good.
That's good, right? Okay, so maybe a little bit more ginger, a little bit more garlicky.
Yeah, I agree. Taste that black pepper now.
Ah, it's good. Nice kick. Hawaiian style huli chicken. So you too can make a Hawaiian luau in your backyard, following this simple recipe with just a few ingredients that you can kind of get from your pantry. I think that should do it. Let's go ahead and spatchcock the chicken next.
Let's do it.
Now let's start the other way. Flip it upside down.
Okay.
Okay, get some of the marinade on it and give it a little massage. Ordinarily, you want to leave this overnight, but who has time? So we'll just cook it directly. But it's going to taste a lot better overnight. And I actually put it in like a 2-gallon bag. The way it's a lot easier, and it's good to do a whole bunch of chickens that way. Super duper marinade, and the marinade can be kept in the refrigerator for up to a week. So you don't have to kind of make the marinade on the fly. And you can cook it in the pan or cook it naked on the grate, whatever is easier. Okay, so here's the story, right? If I'm too lazy to clean the pit, I'll just cook it in the pan. And I have a tray that fits in there, kind of makes sense, so it's elevated. But if you don't have it, you can cook it in the pan. That way, kind of saves on cleanup. So after it crusts later, you can put it onto the grate. Let's go ahead and put it in the pit. Which one do you want to use, Jeremy?
Let's use the Traeger.
Traeger, all right. Traeger at 325. Right. Going in.
Could you get the...
Okay.
Sorry.
There we go. And the hot part is which part?
I think this part is hotter.
Okay, so you want to move it to the hotter part. Okay, here we go. Ready to rock and roll. We'll be back in an hour or so.
Yeah, with this smoker, 275 is a really good temperature. Like on the Brazos and most backyard offsets, 275 is usually too hot. But on this one, it works perfectly. So this one, you could even go as high as 300 and you're still fine. But yeah, 275 is kind of the benchmark.
Absolutely fabulous Huli chicken. Now in Hawaii, you're supposed to turn this, just for the record, right? But we are not turning it. So for those of you who are in Hawaii, please don't give me a hard time. This is not the real Huli where you put it on a rotisserie and you cook it over kiawe wood. Kiawe is Hawaiian mesquite. So we don't have kiawe. What kind of pellets do we have here, Jeremy?
Those are oak pellets.
Oak pellets. All right. So please don't give me a hard time. We're using oak pellets, not kiawe mesquite wood from Hawaii. But we're trying to, preserve the tradition. Do a little bit of luau here in Louisville, Kentucky. So it's getting warm, and the countermeasure is, what did we do, Jeremy?
Open the door.
Open the door and it cools
Because
out.
remember when we started it off, there was heat and smoke coming out this way. When you close the door, it all goes through the cook chamber. So to balance that out, I open the door. Now it's losing heat out the backside. So the temperature in the cook chamber will drop.
Okay, so here's an important tip for those of you who want to own a Franklin pit. This is Jeremy Yoder's technique for fire management and temperature management. If it gets too hot, pop the back door and we're all set. And then you wait until it comes down to what before you close the door?
Probably 300.
300. So there's a little bit of kind of catching it on the way down, right? So at 300, you want to close the door. Right now, we're running around 340.
You can make your own damper for the exhaust here if you want to take a piece of wood and just put it on top, and then that will kind of slow the air coming through.
Okay, a little homemade damper.
Yeah.
And,
it'd be nice to have, a metal one where you can just go. Because I want it to start heating up again now, I will take the door and have it almost closed, but not completely. And then when it's, right where I want it, I'll close this down.
What are the differences cooking on an offset versus a pellet cooker?
Okay, pellet grill is a lot more convenient, but an offset requires more work, but I think can produce better smoke flavor. So it's just the trade-off is how much time are you willing to invest in the cooking process. If you're willing to invest a lot of time, then offset, I think, is a superior cooker. But if you are busy, have a lot of things going on in your life like a lot of people do, it might make the most sense to get a pellet smoker. So for most people who ask me what kind of smoker they should get, usually I steer them toward a pellet smoker rather than an offset. Unless they've already decided they want an offset, they love the process, they want to be outside for 10, 12 hours watching a fire, then I'll help them decide which one makes the most sense. But it's a matter of convenience and then ultimately flavor. One other thing we got to do for my style of brisket is we have some Wagyu tallow here. And I like this because it's got a different fatty acid profile than most beef fat. It just gives a really good mouthfeel and just provides kind of extra moisture in every bite. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the smoker and try to get it to absorb some smoke flavor, because there are two classes of compounds when you're burning a fire. There are hydrophilic compounds which like water, and then hydrophobic compounds which don't. This will absorb hydrophobic compounds, so we'll put this in and get a broader spectrum of smoke flavor than we would otherwise get by just having the meat side exposed. My name is Jeremy Yoder. I got started in barbecue because after college I moved to LA and I was working full-time and going to school full-time, and I needed some kind of hobby, something to kind of occupy my mind and let me kind of disengage from what I was learning and, you know, the kind of mental engagement I needed at work as a school teacher. And I thought, you know, meat good, fire good, put them together, it's going to be great. So I used all the money I had and went and bought a $300 smoker grill combo at Orchard Supply Hardware, which was a thing then, and just started taking every weekend and, you know, cooking barbecue, and started off with tri-tip, and then I cooked a brisket, I cooked a pork butt, cooked a bunch of ribs, and just fell in love with it. And so as somebody who's trained in biochemistry, I kind of wanted to examine, well, how can I make the barbecue better? What am I doing wrong? How can I incrementally improve the process so that the end result is better? And I just kept going with that. I, you know, was cooking barbecue then not only on the weekends, but on weekdays. I would come home from work and fire up the smoker and start using it, and wake up every, you know, 15-20 minutes throughout the course of the night, and, you know, go stoke the fire and just kind of make sure my food was cooked, and I'd take it to work the next day and, you know, give some to my coworkers. And then I started getting requests to do events, and they would say things like, oh, you can cook for 300 people, right? And on my smoker, it couldn't even really fit one brisket, you know, so there was no way I was cooking for 300. So eventually I saved up enough money, got a custom offset built on a trailer, started using that, and started a YouTube channel, basically trying to, you know, relay the stuff that I'd figured out that works for me for other people out there who are trying to barbecue for themselves. When I quit teaching, I had barbecue gigs lined up, and so I just kind of did the catering stuff until COVID-19 shut everything down in LA, and I thought, oh, well, I have 2 weeks off, nice. But it turned into a lot longer than 2 weeks, and I moved back to Kentucky and started doing the YouTube stuff more consistently. And yeah, so now I do barbecue stuff on YouTube, still do some catering events here in Kentucky, and I have tutoring students. So the tutoring is convenient because it's if I want to do it, I can, and people pay for the, you know, one-on-one instruction. So if I'm teaching AP biology or AP chemistry or whatever it is, I can really invest in that student and make sure that he or she is, you know, really learning the material and will do very well in the class. And then ultimately, if they are taking an AP exam, that they'll do well on that as well.
And for people who call it Louisville, what is the proper way to say that?
Oh, if you live here, you call it Louisville. So Louisville. It's like Louisvull is how it sounds. Louisville. The thing I enjoy cooking most is probably steak. Just because it's fast and it tastes great, and, you know, it's just very satisfying. There are things that you can eat, but you don't feel super satisfied afterward. Like for me, pasta, like I'll eat a bunch of pasta and then I'll feel like, oh no, I can't move. But steak, you know, I can eat plenty of steak and be full, but, you know, not have any kind of like lingering food hangover. What makes me happy? Being around people I care about, and being able to just spend time, you know, relaxing with them, enjoying each other's company. I think that's probably when I'm at my happiest. Okay, we're at about 140 degrees or so. Looks absolutely gorgeous. So Jeremy's now gonna put it right onto the grate. I'm gonna attempt to. Gonna try not to burn yourself, please. I'll try not. Okay, so we're gonna paint the sauce a few times. Get some of the beautiful color on it. We like to do 170 on the thigh and about 150, 155 on the breast. So, all right, Jeremy, we've made the pasta and we just use spaghetti noodles because it's easy. You can also buy fresh noodles. So what Jeremy has done is he's sauteed some butter with some ginger and garlic, just a touch of oyster sauce. We're going to toss this with the pasta and sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on it. So the pasta is out over here, so we want to lift the saucepan. All right. Pour it in and give it a nice toss. Butter, garlic, spaghetti. And we got some of this Parmesan cheese, and if you can do me the honors, as little as much as you want. You guys. Well, I love cheese, and I love Parmesan cheese. Maybe try 2 tablespoons first. Give it a stir. Something like that.
Now give it a toss.
Okay.
Grab a noodle and let me know.
Maybe.
It's hot. Don't burn yourself.
It is hot.
More salt, less salt.
More salt.
More salt. Okay, cool. So we'll add more Parmesan cheese.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it smells great.
Okay. All right. Next thing you want to do is now you want to cut the chicken.
Sure. Oh, we just learned how to fabricate it into the different cuts.
Oh,
so
okay.
it was always an airline breast, so we have this little guy attached. And then the way we did it, we just took out the backbone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, people say that's where the flavor is, gnawing on the backbone of the chicken. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
In many cultures, spatchcock chicken is unknown because they want to do it the other way. So you actually kind of do it, with the bone on intact, uncut. You cut the breast and split it. So it's interesting. In America, we do the opposite. We split the backbone out. We take the backbone out. Most parts of the world, it's the opposite. Jeremy, we are in hour number 6.5, and the briskets are doing fine. Can you please tell everybody why we have this little foil thingy?
Well, this is kind of close to the fire, and it was kind of drying out a little bit. So to protect it, we kind of put those foil caps on top to kind of keep everything soft and pliable. And then we're spraying to keep everything else good.
And what's that secret step here?
That is some Wagyu tallow that we're smoking, and we're going to add when we wrap the eating brisket.
Okay, cool. And what is that you're spraying?
Apple cider vinegar and water.
What percentage?
50-50.
50-50. All right, guys, you heard it here. Jeremy Yoder's method. He's spraying both briskets. We have a comp brisket, and we have a Jeremy Yoder brisket, which I made. And you notice as he sprays it, right, none of the bark fell off. So the rule of thumb is when it is early in the game, spray gently because you're going to knock the rub off. So just make sure that the crust has set before you spray it. Jeremy, what do you think? How far are we from wrapping?
Well, for this one, I don't know. For that one, I'd say in the next few minutes, probably it's starting to bark up well.
Okay, all right. And fire is running really well. We're going to be running at our 275 still, and we'll wrap in a few minutes.
Paper is that you get a tight wrap. So if it's loose, it's going to take forever. It's not going to finish when you want it to. But if you get it nice and tight, it should be fine. So I have these gloves on, so let me pull this out.
He's going to pull it out, and this is the Jeremy Yoder brisket cooked by Harry Soo, and he's got it right here.
Okay. So this is starting to get good bark. I'd like it to be a little darker, but I think it's fine. This is kind of starting to dry out on the backside, so we need a wrap to protect that.
All right.
So I go fat side down.
Fat side down.
This is Wagyu beef tallow and smoked. You see how dark it is?
Yep.
It's the smoke that we added to it. Yeah.
Nice color.
So
drizzle some on here.
On the fat side, on the meat side, because the fat side already has fat all over it. Of course.
So fat side up. Fat side down.
So what I like to do is I like to take this kind of lip over the top. So I would actually move this guy. Ooh, fat rendered well.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I do that. And then I roll it over first before I try to tuck it in, or you can tuck it in first and then roll it over.
Okay, like a burrito? Like a burrito style? Like that?
Yep.
Okay, flip it over.
Yep. Okay. And then what I would do is take this, fold it inside here. Okay. And then make sure this is nice and tight. And then roll it again. Nice and tight. And what I like to do is whatever's left, I take it, I fold it in.
Triangle airplane.
Yeah, just so you can grab it easily from either side, and then I roll it one more time.
All right, and then you finish it this way?
Yep.
Excellent. So there you have it, Jeremy Yoder's paper wrap technique with some tallow, smoked tallow. It's gonna be absolutely fabulous.
All right, so we're gonna take it, finish it off at 275. We're gonna keep the same temperature the whole time. When I probe it, I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for about 203 degrees. Maybe it's 200, maybe it's 207. Just depends on how long the brisket's been cooking. But when the probe goes in and feels like softened butter, then we know we're done. So I check the point and the flat. And so a lot of times what I'll do is I'll turn the brisket around and actually have the flat toward the fire to make sure that that gets tender, because if the point gets overcooked, it can kind of be mushy and mealy, and you don't want that before the flat gets done. So I go flat side toward the fire to make sure it catches up with the point, because the point is usually hotter right now than the flat is.
Now, which side is the fat? On the top or bottom now?
The fat is now on the top.
On the top. Okay, and how many hours?
It'll probably be about 3.
3. Okay, 3
Yeah.
more hours. We're all set for some fantastic Jeremy Yoder brisket.
So when it's done, we'll pull it out, we'll let it rest and cool down to about 140 degrees, then slice into it and see how it tastes.
How does it feel?
A little tight still.
A little tight? Okay, so how many more minutes?
I don't know, like maybe 20?
20, all right.
What do you think?
I will trust you, 20 is good.
Okay.
Okay, all right. We'll check in 20 minutes.
All right.
Almost there. All right, Jeremy Yoder is going to attempt the impossible. He is going to attempt the brisket move from the pit super hot into the table. So we're going to make sure that he's going to do the mad brisket dance. Go. Woo! Ow, wow, that's hot.
The champ.
Okay, guys,
champ.
Don't try this at home. Only professional pitmasters can do this, right? Transferring a super hot. So it's been about 10 hours, right, Jeremy? We had fun the whole day cooking brisket.
A lot of fun. I learned a ton. I don't think you learned much, but I learned a lot. So this is super cool.
We got a chance to expose you to some of the mysteries of cooking competition brisket, and you want to give them a poke, and everybody wants to know what the temperature is. So
of this guy?
Of well, both of So show them the.
So this guy is still just pulled off 210.
210, which is always seems high, but again we're cooking to probe tenderness.
It's very tough.
It's still very hot at 190.
Yeah, okay. 191.
All right, so we're gonna do a tasting on 2 hot brisket, Jeremy Yoder and Harry Soo.
All right, so we have both these briskets done. Neither of them rested for nearly as long as we wanted, but we got to get this done in one day, so we're gonna slice them up. If you guys want to see how Harry did this brisket, check out the video on his channel where I kind of walk him through my process, and I think he did a really good job. I had way more to learn because I didn't teach him anything he didn't already know, so I learned a bunch of new stuff. So hopefully I didn't ruin this, but I'm ready to slice this open and see how it turned out.
Absolutely, and I gave Jeremy the ins and outs of how to cook a competition brisket, so go to his channel and watch his competition brisket from start to end.
Don't laugh.
And come to my channel and watch how I cook a Jeremy Yoder brisket with a tallow wrap.
All right, so we're just gonna unwrap it.
Yes, absolutely gorgeous.
Looks moist.
Yep, absolutely divine. Oh wow, that looks really good.
Okay, so
Excelente.
We're gonna find out.
Okay.
So you can cut that side if you want, or you can flip it over, whatever you want. But if you guys could see this right now, there's lots of juice in there.
Wow, look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that, see? That's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. I like the action of the knife. It's got a little kind of flat tip at the end, right? So you can kind of create a nice serrated slice like so. So
if you want to cheat, you can take this and just put it on the cutting board, and then
get the
it's some of the salt, some of the pepper, and a lot of the rendered fat. So
and we'll do the point muscle, which is this one here. Voila! Look at that. It's really gorgeous.
Ooh, do we render it well? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, nice and soft. Okay, let me get a couple of slices of the point here. All right, let's give it a taste test. Let's try the point first.
Sure.
Nice
all right.
soft.
Now, I'm afraid that this is not going to taste salty now. I still taste salt in my mouth. We're going to find out.
Hot.
It is hot.
Guys, good eating. Well done. Nice brisket. And let's get a slice here.
You're so right about the difference in competition versus this. Because I think the saltiness would have tasted right, maybe.
Yeah.
But after eating that, it tastes under-seasoned.
Yes, and that is the kind of subtle difference here.
Yeah.
And we're eating the flat muscle now.
All right. Still feels a little tight.
Probably another 20 minutes, but it's all good.
Yeah.
And we didn't let it rest, so
yeah,
we have to account for that. So all in all, Jeremy Yoder.
What do you think of the smoke flavor we were able to get? So this is your first time cooking on the Franklin pit, and you're used to, you know, doing everything possible to add as much flavor. So what's your evaluation of just the simple salt, pepper, smoke flavor?
All right, so the simple salt and pepper smoke flavor, I find the smoke mild.
Mild.
Very mild.
So you'd want it more.
I would imagine in a contest, I would want to kind of up the smoke level a little bit more.
Okay.
And I'm not sure it's the wood or the pit, but in terms of smoke flavor, I would love a little bit more smoke.
Okay. All right, it's good to know. So on offsets that you've cooked in the past, how would you compare this level of smoke flavor to other stuff? So if you cooked on Pit X, what was that like versus this?
I get a lot of good results by using wood chunks underneath charcoal.
Okay.
And my default competition method is to cook on a Weber Smokey Mountain with about 8 chunks of wood underneath my charcoal.
8 chunks.
And I find that I get a much more pronounced
smoke flavor. But again, right, it's a very subjective
Sure.
matter. Some judges don't like smoke. And I will share a little tip with the viewers here. Women don't care for so much smoke.
Really?
Interestingly enough. So if you have a judging tent and there are more women in the judging tent, I feel that you do better with less smoke.
Really?
This is just my anecdotal experience cooking contests.
Okay. Using the 8 wood chunks on charcoal in a Weber Smokey Mountain, you've won world championships.
I've won first place in some national championship, yes.
Okay, national championship. Only national, guys. Only national. Just the best in the country, no big deal.
About 7,000 teams, yes.
Okay, just the best of 7,000. So, I mean, he obviously has no idea what he's talking about. No, but I really appreciate you, taking the time to teach me this. This is something that's totally foreign to me, something, totally not in my wheelhouse. I know that this is something you've done before, the low, slow, salt, pepper, keep it simple, all that. But I've learned a ton, and I want to really honestly tell you thank you so much. This has been a privilege to learn from somebody with as much experience and as much know-how as you have. So,
Jeremy, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you here, and thank you for being such a gracious host. Thank to you and your family for hosting me today. I had a fabulous time.
Oh, well, that's great to hear. Great to hear. If you guys enjoyed the video, you can hit the like button down below, and you can also subscribe to my channel and Harry's channel. If you guys want to get some of the best barbecue information out there, make sure you check out Harry's channel. It is top-notch stuff. He is very systematic and scientific in how he approaches barbecue, and for that reason, he puts out the best content you can find.
For @SlapYoDaddyBBQ on Instagram, Facebook, and check out my YouTube channel, Harry Soo.
All right, and if you guys enjoyed this video and want to follow me, you can follow me at Mad Scientist BBQ on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Mad Scientist BBQ. So, hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys next time.
Thank you.